What's up, everybody, and welcome to the grand finals of GEST July. I hope you're all really excited for this matchup. I am as well. We have the defending champions Pacific Emacs, formerly known as Pacific Badburn, on the Sentinel side versus Neolution, the Malaysian underdogs, on the Scourge side. And Neolution looking to take the place of Orange, who did not make it to these past or to this GST, or nor will they make the next GST. They're training in Dota 2. But right now we have a very exciting Dota 1 matchup between these top tier Southeast Asian Dota teams. I think Badburn, it's safe to say that they are the strongest Filipino team right now in the Dota 1 scene. And maybe they can put some of their luck into Dota 2 if they ever decide to switch, but right now they're having a lot of success in Dota 1. Being a two-time defending GMPGL champion and the winner of GEST June. Meanwhile, Neolution, they had a bit of a struggle recently, but right now they've come back into top form using some strategies that are very nice, using dual lanes, things like that. As we see a Respect Techies ban. Is Nico playing? That is the real question. If Nico is the Techies player, let's see. We see Huge. I guess that might be Nico. As it looks like Fiona and Invoker are the opening bans for Pacific Badburn. Meanwhile, Rubik and Techies the opening bans for the Neolution squad against the Badburn side. They're fearing the Rubik play of Inma or CHN. And it'll be interesting to see what Badburn decides to go with. Whether they go for aggressive lineup, will they go for more turtle lineup? Right now, Badburn has shown them as probably the most adaptable Pinoy team. They really know how to take advantage of map control. They don't always like to play balls deep aggressive. They're more of a calculating Pinoy team, and they just sort of like to take their time, leave mistakes opening. Even when they're down kills, they play very patiently, very safe, and try to look for the right opening. And they ban out the Darkseer, one of the most annoying heroes to deal with. Meanwhile, Earthshaker is response banned by Neolution. But anyway, this is the grand finals of GST July. Hopefully you've all enjoyed these games as much as I have casted them. It's definitely been a fun ride, and I think by the time all this is said and done, I will bring you 8 or 9 games. I'm not going to tell you because this is a best of 3, so I won't tell you if it's 8 or 9 just yet. But I will bring you 8 or 9 games within 5 or 6 days, which is pretty good by my part, so I'm giving myself a pat on the back. But yeah, hopefully if you enjoyed this Dota 1 commentary, and all these Dota 1 comments I brought you, please do support me by subscribing to my YouTube and follow me on Twitch. That'll help me out the most. And also follow me on Facebook. And if this will be probably my last Dota 1 matches until GST August, but if I get a lot of feedback for Dota 1 matches, then I'll see what I can find. I probably won't cast low-level games, but still, if there's a lot of feedback for Dota 1, I can get myself back. But all I know is that if you guys keep supporting me, keep leaving me feedback, then I'll be sure to cast more Dota 1 if you all still want it. Anyway, Dragonite is the opening pickup for Pacific, and Naga is the opening pickup for Neolution. So, it'll be interesting to see as Puck is the second pickup for Pacific Badburn, so there goes our long lane solo. And Puck is a team who dominates very well against Pinoy teams, but not really too much success against international teams. Mostly because international teams play very differently. They don't rely on too much mobility as compared to the Pinoy teams, and they don't rely on too much of spell spammers as the Pinoys do, who like to pick spell spammers who can chase, who can just be very mobile, and of course Dream Coil, Waning Rift, not as effective. Of course Puck's still a very strong hero nonetheless. He's seen a lot of success recently. But still, it'll be interesting to see how Puck fares against this Neolution lineup. They pick up the Ancient Apparition and Winner, 2 very safe picks. They're not really showing their hand just yet, so it's up to Pacific Badburn. What do they go for? I'm sure they're going to try to pick up one of their supports right here. And Ancient Apparition, Rubik, and Earthshaker are out of the pool, but Shadow Demon's still there, so I expect Shadow Demon to be the pickup for Pacific Emacs, formerly known as Badburn, and I'm just calling him Badburn because, I mean, that sounds more badass. So Shadow Demon is probably going to be the next pickup by Pacific. If not, then maybe they'll go for a niche pick just to surprise the Neolution squad. But still, you don't want to give away to your strategy too early in the pick ban phase, of course, since you have a lot of time to counter pick, to counter ban against it should the opposing team get an inkling. And right now, picking up the Shadow Demon would be a very safe pickup for Badburn, should they decide to go for it. Of course, these 3 heroes on the side of Pacific Emacs are just really popular in the Pinoy scene. But still, I mean, if they want to go for a Queen of Pain for a solo mid position, they could. Of course, Dragonite will most likely be the solo mid. And yes, we do see a Shadow Demon. So Dragonite solo mid, Puck's going to solo top on the Sentinel long lane. Shadow Demon is probably going to be support and Trine, so it's going to be up to Pacific Emacs to decide, alright, should we pick up another support? Should we pick up a roamer who can help out, maybe a Rasta or a Veno or something like that? Although I'm going to confess, I do not see Veno at all in these games. I do not think he has the hardcore disables or the chasing power. I mean, he has the soloing power, but still, he's not really that strong. Or maybe we're going to see a Sand King, and y'all know my thoughts about Sand King in the Dota 1 scene in Southeast Asia. But still, Sand King is the ban by Neolution. not really liking this ban just because I think the success with the Sand King is very, very low, but still, maybe they fear just Sand King in general. But right now, Pacific Emacs has decided, alright, what are your lanes going to be? Well, we have Dragonite in the mid lane, most likely, but he might be able to solo bottom with the dual lane or something like that, or go top with the dual lane, go bottom with the dual lane, and we can still pick up a mid solo. So right now, they have the beginnings of the trying with the Shouting, but they still have a lot of versatility. They decided to ban out the Beastmaster, knowing that what Neolution is lacking is their own mid solo hero. They have Windrunner for soloing against the puck. They have Naga in their own tri-lane. And Naga is a very, very powerful tri-lane hero, innately very tanky, high armor, and has an AoE minus armor nuke. And of course, physical harassment early in the early game is just so devastating, especially a movement speed disabled like Ensnare, which can hold people in place for quite a long time. 2 seconds at level 1, 3 seconds at level 2. That's pretty ridiculous for holding people in place, and it's going to be pretty difficult to stop a Naga tri-lane in any situation. And this is why we see Naga often, because she's a strong laner, and also because her mid-game Song and Siren that sets up her team fights is just something else. That's why we see Naga so often in both the Dota 1 and the Dota 2 scene. Omni Knight is the ban, fearing the power of DK Omni Knight combination. Omni Knight is one of those supports who needs a lot of levels, but still, Inma plays a nice Omni Knight as a support in a tri-lane. So I guess it might be a respect ban to Inma, and also they're fearing the Omni Knight Dragon Knight combination. If you put Repel on a Dragon Knight, it's going to be so insanely difficult to kill that Dragon Knight. And especially since the Filipino Nagas, or the Southeast Asian Nagas, do not build into Fusel Blades, much like other teams do. They go for tanky, Radiance, Vanguard, Manta, things like that, and they don't really go for a Diffusal Blade Rush as we see often in other scenes. So we're waiting on the last ban, and Queen of Pain is the final ban. Don't really think well, Queen of Pain is a good hero if they wanted to, if Neolution was thinking about putting the Windrunner in a mid position, or if Queen of Pain was going to solo that mid. So I guess a smart ban by Pacific, limiting some of the options, and of course Queen of Pain, a very mobile hero, can chase down the puck, can give DK a bit of harassment in lane, a lot of harassment in lane to be honest, and of course can pick off heroes like Shouting are not the most mobile, even with the disruption. So Neolution, they have to pick up some of their other tri-lane heroes, and they decide to go for a Kunkka. Now Kunkka, I guess he's going to be mid-soloing up against his Dragonite, going to rush that Lothar's Edge. And Dragonite versus DK, once DK picks up the bottle and starts spamming Fire Breath, he should be okay, but until DK picks up the bottle, he'll be harassed a little bit. But still, Kunkka versus DK, I don't think either hero should be able to kill each other, but keep in mind that DK can Bottle Crow much easier as an AoE, more targetable nuke. Meanwhile, Torrent is very unreliable. So I think DK, once he picks up the bottle, should be able to win the lane quite handily. But Kunkka, of course, can set up team fights, especially in combination with the Naga Siren, with that Song with a Siren. And you can just land boats and torrents very, very easily once you decide to end the Song and Siren. So Weaver is to pick up by Pacific Emacs, going for their hard carry. Weaver has seen a bit of revival from play, especially from Pacific Emacs. Weaver, of course, a very survivable carry, needs a lot of items in order to get going. But when he does get going, he's very difficult to stop. And Lion is going to be the last pickup by the Neolution squad, going to tri-lane him with the Naga and give them a lot of stunning power. And of course, if you get netted, cold feeded, impaled, you are in for death. That's all I'm just going to say, unless you get defensive disrupted. But still, a survivable tri-lane being picked up by Pacific Emacs, have defensive disruption, have the Weaver to escape a lot of situations. Will they go for another tri-lane disabling hero, or will they go for a hero who can semi-carry mid dual lane or roam a bit? Probably go for this tri-lane pickup for the safe pick and just give them a little bit more offensive power, because right now they do not have too much offensive power, and if Weaver doesn't get too much farm, he's not going to have a good time. And right now, Lion, along with Naga and Ancient Apparition, are just going to be bullying the side of Pacific Emacs. So I expect a tri-lane hero that can control the tri-lane relatively well to be picked up and provide some sort of mid-game presence, because they have the late game. They have the Dragonite and the Weaver. Meanwhile, Naga and Kunkka are solid late game heroes, but I think Dragonite Weaver can beat up a Naga and a Kunkka, especially if heroes like the Naga and Kunkka do not get enough farm and Dragonite wins this lane. And still, it'll be very, very important to see what this last tri-lane hero it is. I expect sort of an offensive mid-game power tri-lane hero. So what are the possibilities? Well, we could pick up Centaur, but no, we're going to go for the Dirge, as Dirge is the last pick. I'm pretty excited. Y'all know how much I love Dirge. He's so much fun for me to play, at least. Dirge in a tri-lane, he's going to be playing a tri-lane in this situation. Have no fear about that. Dirge in a tri-lane I'm not the biggest fan of, but still he's a powerful tri-lane hero nonetheless. DK can hit multiple targets, steal a lot of strength for the Dirge, make him very, very tanky. And of course leveling up Tombstone as he picks up Observer Wards and Sentry Wards, so he's not going to... He's going to be able to max Tombstone very, very quickly, but not if he doesn't pick up too much experience. So it's going to be up to the Triumph to protect the Dirge and the Weaver, and that's going to be a heavy burden for the Shadow Demon to cater for, to handle by himself. Because the Dirge, of course, not the most survivable hero, has a lot of healing, so it can protect the Weaver if anybody gets too low, but not very mobile. So he'll probably be the brunt of the first targets, but of course Shadow Demon with Defensive Disruption can stall for time, and Dirge, of course, pretty difficult to kill in the early game, just because of Decay, Soul Rip, pretty annoying to deal with. And now we see Kunkka landing to the top, as we're going to see a Lion Soul middle, and a Windrunner Soul bottom. And I'm not... Kunkka Naga tri-lane. Well, you see some things in Pinoy that sometimes do not make too much sense, and right now I'm not really too big of a fan of a Kunkka Naga tri-lane if it comes down to that. Kunkka, of course, one of his best skills is the Tidebringer, and that innately pushes the lane, and right now if you're on the Scourge tri-lane, you don't really want to push the lane too heavily. Of course, you want to give your Ancient Apparition some room to pull the creeps, as a Bad Burn ward has been placed. Very, very cleverly disguised, but a Sentry ward should be able to scout out. But still, where do they place the Observer ward? That'll be up to Pacific Bad Burn to determine. But still, or for Annihilation to determine. But still, not too big of a fan of this tri-lane by the Annihilation squad. Because Kunkka innately pushes tri-lanes with the Tidebringer, and if he doesn't pick up Tidebringer, then he loses a lot of effectiveness in the laning phase. Torrent, very, very unreliable to disable. But still, net into Torrent and Cold Feet is very, very deadly, and if Shadow Fiend drops a Defensive Disruption, you can just set up a Torrent for free pretty much after that. Regardless if it's on a Weaver or a Dirge, Torrent will hit if a Defensive Disruption is dropped. So I guess Kunkka is more of an anti-Shadow Demon in this lane, rather than a Surf Harassment, but Kunkka does need some farm, and eliminating one of the semi-carry threats by landing him in the top lane while giving Naga the primary farm, it's going to give Bad Burn big relief in terms of going into the mid-game, where Kunkka might become a huge problem. Meanwhile, we're going to see a Lion versus DK. Lion should have a reasonable good time. Of course, Lion doesn't have the biggest HP pool, but both heroes will Bottle Crow, and I think Lion in the early part of the game should have a reasonable advantage, has Impale, has more mana to work with, has range, of course, but once Dragon Knight picks up the bottle, he should be able to win back the lane, just because he's more tanky. He spams Fire Breath, which is an AoE nuke that pushes the lane much better, and it does more damage than Impale and Voodoo could do. And I think Dragon Knight with that base armor from the Dragon Blood will just be a-okay in the lane. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, Windrunner versus Puck. Windrunner usually should have the easier time, but I've seen Pucks win this solo v solo lane quite a bit. Of course, Puck can phase shift a lot of the harassment, but Windrunner, better attack animation, more spammable nuke, lower mana cost, has the Windrun to escape a lot of the physical harassment. Should be a-okay. So right now this tri-lane is not phasing to be too interesting, but it's going to really depend on the positioning, as looks like Dirge is doing a nice job denying as sent towards. As did they scout up that Observer ward? Yes, nicely done by Annihilation. But still, Naga 3-2, not farming the best. Weaver is 7-1 on the other hand, and I forgot to introduce the players and the teams, but I'm going to wait for the action to sort of die down. Decay is going to be soon. I do not think either team will go on the defensive since Kunkka is pulling. So I'll introduce the players in the team. We have Inma playing the Dirge, master support hero in the Pinoy scene. We have Don playing the Shadow Demon, CHN playing the Weaver, Biabas playing the Dragon Knight, Huge playing the Puck. We have Taji playing the Lion, Bali on the Kunkka, Gnosticism playing the Ancient Apparition, KYT playing the Windrunner, and Intrezo, the hard carry, played a magnificent Morphling up against, who did they play? Mineski playing the Naga Siren. So a lot of talented Dota 1 players in the scene, and hopefully more Dota 1 will come very, very soon. GMPAGL is coming up, but I do not think I'll be bringing you like any of those games unless I get a lot of requests, just because Dota 1 is pretty kind of time consuming in comparison to Dota 2. But still, let's go into this game. Meanwhile, Lion 13-2, Dragon Knight on the other hand 10-1, so he's faring reasonably well, and he's probably bottle curling it up like a boss. And right now, this tri-lane seems to be very, very slow. And usually in Pinoy games, what we saw in the past is just tri-lanes getting kills after kills. 4 minutes of the game, there would be literally 12 kills. But right now, I think the Pinoy teams are starting to adapt to each other, to play a bit more defensively, know that farming can help you quite a bit. Of course, they're not going to be like the Chinese. They're going to play very aggressive in the mid-game. They're going to play very aggressive. And keep in mind, the Chinese have definitely changed their playstyle. They are also very aggressive in terms of chasing as well. But still, Pinoy are just not going to go on the offensive. Will Torrent be dropped? No, Tidebringer is just going to be used to probably deny for a bit, as Riptide's going to be dropped to reduce some minus armor. Unfortunately, the Kunkka Tidebringer splash is pure damage, so it won't affect the minus armor being dropped by the Naga. So, where will the action come from the first one? I guess it'll come from the mid lane if line gets low enough. Dragon Tail and Fire Breath can pick off the line. And you can see Dragonite just having a fun time. Is half a level ahead of the line. Will be picking up level 6 as he's just been denying it up. And line's going to be ruining it up. So, that's going to be a bit unfortunate for line. He's going to lose a lot of experience in this meantime. So, Dragonite winning the lane just on the strength of Bottle Crowing. Meanwhile, line, because he's Rune Horn, because he didn't pick up a bottle, he's not having too good of a time. And I expect him to pick up a bottle. Does Neolution have 2 couriers? That is the real question. Looks like they only have 1, at least as far as I can tell. And this is a trademark of some Southeast Asian teams. Neolution, I think in the last game they picked up 2 couriers, but I guess in this game they don't really feel the need to. They know Windrunner should be able to win the lane against Puck if all goes well. But still, now no bottle on line is a little bit surprising for me. When you go mid lane with the line, you can spam the Impale, and right now DK is just out-leveling, outplaying the line right now, just on the strength of the bottle courier tactic. Alright, looks like I'm gonna have to edit that part out, but still, sneezed so hard that my headphones fell off. Anyway, looks like Puck picked up a double damage, Impale being dropped. Lion has gonna pop his salve, picked up a Null Talisman along with the Bracer, giving him some nice stats. And of course, this won't be building into a Dagon. The Bracer might build into some later game drums, but right now, Lion probably wants to save up enough money to go for the Blink Dagger. Malaysian Lion, much like the Mushi Lion, will go for the Blink Dagger very, very soon. Although I can't profess that I've seen as Naga's in a bit of trouble. Here comes the Swarm. Cold Feet being dropped on the Dirge. Tombstone being dropped. Only level 2 Tombstone, so it's still doing quite a bit of damage, especially on the back of the Soul Catcher. But right now, Shadow Poison. Can Weaver come in for the last hit? Looks like Naga's in a lot of trouble. Soul Catcher just wears off, but one last hit will be able to pick off Intrezo. Now Weaver is below half HP. Can he cast a Torrent? Looks like Kunkka's going to dodge a Torrent. Dirge is just able to take it up because he cannot feel anything. He is already dead. So that's going to be the end of that engagement. Intrezo did die to First Blood. Weaver picked it up, and that's going to mean that this challenge is just working magnificently. CHN very, very content to keep farming it up and keep last hitting. Meanwhile, Dirge is going to pick up some nice experience, and if you get Dirge experience in the challenge, then you're going to be in for a not-so-fun mid-game. Meanwhile, Kunkka not receiving the farm. I'd rather Lion go into the top lane to support if they want to do Trons, or rather dual lanes. Hey, you can still run dual lanes. And you know what, I'm pretty surprised actually that we don't see more dual lanes in the Filipino scene, just because Dragonite is such a common pick. Dragonite can handle himself reasonably well against dual lanes, but I think since Dragonite is just becoming so popular, I'd rather see more dual lane mids to shut down the Dragonite. So hopefully as time goes on, the Filipinos, if Dragonite still becomes a stale pick, they'll implement more dual lanes and just play more defensive trial lanes and just shut down the Dragonite, because he gets very, very powerful. And I think Dragonite can be shut down because he's a melee hero. But of course, the bottle crowing tactic doesn't really, it's not really that suitable, because if he picks a bottle, he can spam Fire Breath and pick up a lot of experience that way. You know, it looks like the Lion is forced to retreat a bit, 200 HP. Meanwhile, Dragonite just spamming Fire Breath, picked up a Bracer. Might go for drums himself. Meanwhile, Huge picked up a kill on KYT. Looks like Puck might be in a little trouble. Looks like Lion picks up the last hit, but KYT dying to Puck. As is typical in these games, it looks like there's a big engagement happening up top. Tombstone being dropped, Soul Catcher being dropped on the Naga. One more hit, Swarm doing a nice job in terms of doing a lot of damage, as just in a span of 4 seconds, or 20 seconds, 3 more kills are picked up in this game. So right now the tri-lane for Bad Burn is working out splendidly. Soul Catcher just providing so much work, and they can't really stop the Tombstone, and this tri-lane is not really working out very successfully for Neolution. They're going to be in a lot of trouble for the mid-game, especially since Windrunner did die on the bottom lane. And it's a bit puzzling because Windrunner, I think, should have the advantage against Puck, but more often I see Puck just winning the lane outright against Windrunner. And meanwhile, the middle tower did fall in the while Lion was ganking the Puck. After that return gank, Dragonite picking up a lot of farm. And still, I think this is why we should see some more dual lanes made to shut down the Dragonite. But Cold Feet, along with the net, is going to be dropped. Defensive Disruption. Here comes the Torrent as the anti-Shaolin. Tombstone going to be dropped. Looks like CHN does take the fall. Tombstone doing a lot of residual damage with the Soul Catcher. And Soul Catcher is not dispelled from Mirror Image. But still, Naga's going to try to escape. Soul Orb being casted. Can the zombies pick up some kills? Ancient Apparition very low. Decay coming in. Dirge the Undying just proving to be such a menace, as here comes the Torrent and Cold Feet. Dirge will get frozen to the ground. But looks like BOS managed to pick off Gnosticism in the midst of all that on the back of his Dragonite. Dragonite coming to roam, and looks like Dirge might be in a lot of trouble. He's going to try to juke off of course, Decay doing a lot of work. Torrent does whiff, but here comes Lion for the reinforcement, but Lion is going to have to become very, very careful as Finger Death picks up a kill on Dawn, and Lion comes with the Hex on the Dragonite. Dragonite very, very tanky. I do not think they can bring him down, but he doesn't have too much mana to work. But here comes Weaver, going to cast a Swarm, hitting 2 arrows, nicely placed by CHN. Alright, didn't hit the Kunkka, a little bit unfortunate, but they should still be able to kill the Lion, who is level 9, and killing this will give so much gold and experience to the Weaver, picking up a very early Perseverance, going to go for that Lincoln Sphere. So a chaotic gank, but I think overall, even though the kills went in favor of the Scourge side, I think Bad Burn came out of that A-OK. Weaver picked up a killing streak. After that, Naga Siren died in the middle, or in the beginning of that engagement, and now it looks like she is, where's she at? Naga Siren, where you at, man? Oh, I guess he just did. Meanwhile, Dragonite picked up 1 kill, it's just firing very, very fast. Gonna go for that Lothar's Edge standard in the Filipino scene. And Lothar's Edge, I'm coming to appreciate it more and more on Dragonite. I still don't think it's the best item, but hey, they play Dragonite like a Morphling. If you ever leave the lane open, like with the Broodmother, as looks like there's going to be a gank on the bot lane for the puck. Here comes the Hex, the Voodoo. Looks like Waning Griff's going to be cast, but still a kickoff on the puck nonetheless, as Dawn, the Shadow Demon, managed to pick up a kill on Gnosticism, the Ancient Apparition, with the help of Dirge the Tombstone. And Dirge, level 6, 10 minutes in the game, getting a lot of experience, a lot of farm early on, and Dirge in a Trine, working out pretty well. But still, just to go back to my Lothar's Edge point, I'm coming to appreciate it more and more if you play it more like a Broodmother or a Morphling where you can just AFK push, especially on the back of that Corrosive Breath being picked up. It's very, very deadly, and you can't really live DK alone, because that Corrosive Breath just does a lot of damage to towers. Meanwhile, Naga, 27-4, not having a good time in this farm at all. And we'll just check out some of the early CS, 33-10, and 36-3 on the Windrunner and Lions respectively. Meanwhile, you can see that Bad Burn is completely out-farming the side of the Scourge, as looks like Intrezo did take the fall, the Naga to Siren, and now Dragonite is going to get impaled. Can they pick off the line? Nope, as I cannot take my eye off on the score screen, or I cannot put my eye on the score screen at all whatsoever, as looks like this game is proving to be very chaotic in the mid-game, as is expected in a P9 matchup. The lanes may have gotten a bit more stable, but still, chaos is to be had everywhere. Winner going to provide a little bit of pressure, going to go for that mechanism, as here comes Naga, going to get disrupted by the Shadow Demon, Soul Catcher being dropped. It's going to hit the Naga Siren, and it's still going to have it, but she's going to pop the Naga Siren, should be A-OK. Will they enforce it with some teleports? No, it looks like Kunkka is just going to roam to the top lane. Kunkka, level 6, Captain Obvious, does have the boat, but still cannot really do too much, does not have much items, has boot speed and magic wand, so I guess that's something. Meanwhile, Windrunner, will she get ganked? No, Puck is just going to harass her a bit, as I'm going to have to keep my eye on the minimap as I miss some kills. Looks like there's going to be a gank on DK. DK just so tanky, but here comes the Ice Blast. Is there anything else to follow up? Finger of Death able to kill the DK with the help of the Ice Blast. And now, with killing the DK 8-6 in favor of Bad Burn, but Bad Burn just has a lot of map control, has picked up 2 towers, so they should be fine going into the mid-game. Weaver gonna get dangerous close. No, gonna go for some power treads first. Shackle Shot on the Shadow Demon. Here comes the Disruption. Tombstone being dropped. Level 4, level 3 Tombstone, so it won't be as effective, but still Gnosticism does pick off the kill on Dawn. And now there's gonna be an offensive on the Ancient Apparition. Looks like Weaver's gonna pick up a kill on Ancient Apparition with the help of the Swarm. And now Kunkka's gonna have to retreat. We were doing a lot of damage, but a beautiful Shackle Shot by the Winner, and the Torrent does not hit both heroes. Unfortunately for the Kunkka, Time Lapse is going to dispel a lot of the damage, but still holds Weaver in place, but Dirge is going to take the fall all the while, and unfortunately for the Scourge, they cannot pick up the Tombstone goal, but nice recovery by Neolution, and now Weaver's on the run, is popping a salve all the while, should be A-OK. But still, a nice recovery by Neolution, but all the while, Bad Burn, as trademark Bad Burn style, we're always going to have one person pushing a tower. So we're going to make you scramble, but while you scramble, we're going to be pushing your lanes. And that's just so annoying to deal with, as Puck managed to get the heck out of there. Still trying to go for the last hit. No, he's definitely going to die. As looks like Puck gets voodooed, and was there anybody in the middle? It was just the Weaver, but now Puck is going to surely take the fall. A couple more hits. He's going to try to phase out of there. Ice Blast going to come in, will not pick up the last hit. Puck will escape! Oh man, some poor chain stunning, as I think Impale timed with Colfie and Voodoo should have definitely picked up the kill, but Colfie never procced. So a bit unfortunate on that regard, as it looks like Weaver's going to be able to teleport out. The creeps just proving to be such a nuisance. The creeps are on the side of CHN. Meanwhile, Taji did manage to pick up did die, as he tried to chase down the puck. Very, very unfortunate, as there's just too much chaos happening all over the map. Instead of being cast on the Dragonite, he's gonna get the Fire Breath, but still, Naga's being harassed so heavily. Can he get disrupted? Yes, gonna get Dragon Tail. The last hit being picked up by Biabasa. Kofi being ticked in on the Shadow Demon. Dragonite gonna go for a reinforcement gank with the Dragon Tail Soul Catcher being dropped, and here comes the Torrent holding DK in place, even though he doesn't fly up into the air. Kunkka going to try to save the life of his Ancient Apparition, but Ancient Apparition turned back, and he's going to take the fall. Biabasa picks up another kill, as Biabasa is starting to become a big nuisance, as Dirge is going to come in for the reinforcements, and right now there's too much action, too much chaos, 20 kills in 14 minutes. So, meanwhile, Winner trying to desperately pick up her mechanism. So, just as the battle cry of Jotan Akko being called out, but huge. Let's just check out some of the items going. Winner going to try to desperately pick up that mechanism. Meanwhile, I'll be interested to see what Dirge. He picked up the Earnest Shadows. Looks like he's playing very, very hardcore support. So playing a hardcore support with some help from the Shadow Demon as 1, 2, and 5. So he's definitely made an impact in some of these early game engagements, as it looks like Winner is going to be in a bit of trouble. Here comes the Tombstone. Decay being dropped. Illusory Orb. Winner is going to be launched. So Winner is going to come in, and the Soul Rip picking up the last hit. Puck is just going to stay close, not going to shatter. Of course, cannot regen HP. And meanwhile, Ancient Apparition is going to come in, but it's getting slowed by the Tombstone all the while. Tombstone is level 4, so now those zombies will become a big nuisance. Meanwhile, the map control is just holding Neolution to their side of the map, really keeping them suffocated in terms of how much they can farm, how much they can roam. And Rouse has not gotten off to a good start. She's forced to jungle up with relative unsafety, 0 and 5. Relative danger. Unsafety is not a word. Sentinel pick up another tower on the bottom lane, going to try to pick off the Puck. Hex going to be dropped, should change the stunts, Kofi and Impale, and Puck is going to take the fall, but still Puck for a tower, well worth it, especially when your other lanes are being pushed all the while, and this is the Badmer play style. Kill one of our heroes, push all your other towers. Definitely a bit more European, a bit more Chinese, and I think that might be, since the Badburn team has adopted all the playstyles of all different areas of the world, I think that might be a big reason why they're having a lot of success. Pick Pinoy heroes, but play very, very reminiscent of European and Chinese teams, just pushing, split pushing, and killing towers, getting map control, and then suffocating your opposing team. And Badburn is just looking so powerful, 13-9 in favor of them, but the gold lead is going to show a huge difference if there was a gold grab, as Weaver might get uncontested for this tower. Net will be dropped. Of course, Weaver is just going to Sukuchi out, making sure no tower is in deny range, so if the Scourge want to deny it, they can go for it. And will they deny it? Yes, they will. They do not want to forfeit any more gold. They know if DK comes in for a couple more attacks, the tower will fall. And now, looks like Neolution, they're sensing the chokehold being put on them. They're trying to devord a bit, but still, considering a hero like Naga who wants to go for the Radiance Vanguard is having such a difficult time, only level 8, only the Strength Trides and Ring of Aquila to her name, considering Kunkka did not receive mid lane farm at all, and they sacrificed the Kunkka mid lane in order to get the Lion farm, and Lion doesn't even have Blink Dagger, only Phase Boots and Smoke to Seat, so really nothing is working out for Neolution. The only thing that might be working out for them is that the Ancient Apparition is level 8. Meanwhile, Dirge has picked up some Arcane Boots. What will Badmer decide to go for? It looks like they're going to try to push the bottom tier 2 tower, and since they have the middle 2 tower already, that will secure them an easy Roshan should they decide to go for it. And of course, they're just going to keep counter-warding it up. Inma, even though he's playing Dirge as a support, he's just going to always stay to the support route, as Song of Siren going to be dropped just for DK. Can they get the net? They will be able to kill the DK. If they have detection, Ice Blast Hex going to be dropped, as do they have detection? Okay, well, we'll just use the Naga ultimate and then just let DK run out because we don't have detection. Maybe they realize, oh shit, we just used all our Sentry Wards counter-warding these hills. But still, I guess they should have saved some for DK because the chain stuns were not on par, and that's a bit odd. But this is an online tournament, but still, when you use the Song of Siren, you're expecting to get a kill, and Song of Siren will be on cooldown. So if Badmer wants to take a fight, they should be able to feel free to do so. And Weaver has picked up the Lincoln Sphere, 17 minutes in the game, farming very, very well. But farming is not the issue. The issue right now is towers and map control. Does Puck have Blink Dagger? Yes, he does. Shadow Demon, Arcane Boots with the Bracer. Here comes Dirge in with Arcane Boots and a fully stocked Magic Stick. With the max level Tombstone, that's pretty much all he needs. Of course, Dirge, you can build him very, very tanky and just let him survive. But right now, since the other team is very low leveled, he should be a-okay as the Dragonite form does time out. But still, they're going to pick off this bomb tier 2 tower. And with that, 6 towers have fallen for the Neolution squad. Meanwhile, Neolution has yet to pick up a tower for themselves. and Weaver's just pushing the lane all the while. So it looks like Bad Bird, they want to take the Roshan. No, it looks like they're going to just get some map control, pop a smoke to see, and then maybe go on the offensive. But still, Neolution literally having the life squeezed out of them. And I think the fault of this does have to go to the laning. Kunkka in a tri lane supporting another melee hero does not work out when Kunkka's not getting the farm, and Lion not picking up a fast enough Blink Dagger. And I really think, you know, DK is going to go to mid lane, so why not just put a dual lane against mid lane DK? I know Breath of Fire, once you pick up the Bile Crow, will just become very, very difficult to deal with, but still, you want to shut down DK as much as possible, and considering that you max Breath of Fire and you don't max Dragon's Blood, the harassment should have some sort of effect. DK does not have the highest base strength growth in the game. So I'd rather you put some more emphasis on killing the DK, because DK is just becoming so big of an issue in these scenes. Has Haste Rune. I want to just check out the gold very, very quickly. 2200 gold in the bank for CHN. Will he save it for Relic? Looks like he's trying to do that. You know, DK 800 gold in the bank, but we'll probably go for the BKB. Of course, BKB against Naga, not the best item, but still, having a BKB nonetheless will be pretty effective, just because the physical output damage of the Scourge side is not too threatening at this point in the game. Meanwhile, DK does have max Dragon's Blood, so he can tank it up like nobody else. Meanwhile, it looks like Don going to try to build towards an eventual mechanism in my building towards some, just some wards and smokes. Yeah, he built towards wards and smokes, as looks like there was a bit of engagement. Brown teleported out. And Brown, rather than going for Radiance, recognizes that it'll be too little, too late, so he's going to go for Yasha, trying to buff up his images, trying to buff up his move speed to escape more easily, but still level 9, not good for a Naga in China. Meanwhile, Kunkka faring even worse, no items to speak of, and looks like Roshan is going to be taken by the Bad Bird squad. Meanwhile, Windrunner has yet to finish a mechanism, and now the Medallion of Courage is picked up by the Shadow Demon, so they're going to try to melt down this Roshan, especially with the help of the double damage rune. And with this Roshan kill, I think Bad Bird can just go in for the victory, and I don't know if there's much Neolution can do. Ice Blast scouting everything out, but still the Medallion has brought Roshan down very low. Looks like Dragon Knight just going to try to tank up a bit. Will they go on the offensive? No, Weaver all the while just pushing in, and looks like Dragon Knight will be able to pick up the Aegis. One more hit, but Dragon Knight does get the kill and does pick up the Aegis. Meanwhile, Weaver is getting ganked on the top lane, but Weaver is just going to scurry out of there. And this is the problem with some invisibility heroes. Your supports are just forced to waste so much money on wards, sentry wards, and dust that you don't, if you get put down as a support, you're not going to make any item progression, and this invisible heroes will just gank you even more easily. Blah, my English, not too good, sounding like Lunas. Shack shot lands on 2 heroes, but can they initiate? They do not have the strongest initiation. Here comes a torrent, it's going to hit on the DK, and as does the Ice Blast, but it only graces Shadow Demon. DK will be able to regen up, has finished the BKB, and looks like Bad Bird, once they regen up, they should go for a mid push. But DK just bottling up all the while. Meanwhile, Puck has the Blink Dagger, has initiation, and right now, what can Neolution do? Well, they can hope for a Song of Siren and then just hopefully get a Torrent Boat combination, because still no mechanism, no pipe finish for the Bad Bird squad. So Torrent Boat will still do a lot of damage. But they, other than the initiation, other than letting Naga just run in, and considering Song of Siren has pretty good range at level 1, but still not the best, it's pretty unreliable to say that Song of Siren can catch all 5 heroes. And if Puck manages to blink in with the Dream Coil, it'll be very, very annoying to deal with. As it looks like Dream Coil is used on the Lion, and Lion's just going to teleport out. No, here comes the Winning Rift, and Lion's going to just teleport out. Okay. But Dream Coil does have an 85-second cooldown. Very useful thing to have, as DK is going to go on the fence, is going to try to kill Ancient Apparition. Level 14 picks up the level 2 Dragon Breath. Fire Breath going to be casted as well as the BKB, and just going to pick up an easy kill on Ancient Apparition. Not really sure if that was worth the 10-second BKB charge, just because he picked up 1 kill. But still, you know, killing the Ancient Apparition, who just does a lot of anti-base, or a lot of base defense on the back of Ice Blast, preventing regen, and of course Ancient Apparition is just one of the biggest buzz kills as a Dirge player. It's preventing so much of the healing and so much of the regen that Dirge provides. Meanwhile, Weaver should be finishing his Relic relatively soon. 4k gold in the bank. So, Weaver's going to have the Relic. And Bad Bird just going to play it slow and steady, close to the bone. Why risk anything? Naga not even level 11. But still, I'd rather you push it before Naga hits level 11, and Naga should hit level 11 relatively soon. You know, Ice Blast being constantly spammed, not hitting too much of anything, just trying to scare away the Weaver. But looks like Bad Burn, they're just going to do some pot shots at the tower and just back off Phase Shift just being used. Because, hey, 0 mana cost. Pretty cool spell. As once Weaver picks up the reins, I think they'll start to groove up. But still, playing Weaver as a split pusher, just spreading out the resources. And Bad Burn does this as better than any other Pinoy team. Not going to say better than any other team, but definitely better than any other Pinoy team. Keeping it split push, constantly pressuring all the lanes. And I think against Bad Burn, you really have to ban the DK or just employ a dual lane against him, because Bad Burn uses DK very, very well, just split pushing it up. But still not going to continue the farm. Is going to be engaged in line, picks up Blink Dagger, but unfortunately Puck has fast reflexes, going to cast a Tombstone by the Dirge. Here comes a offensive disruption on the line, going to kill line. First off, Soul Catcher being dropped, doing so much damage. Here comes the Swarm, Zombies doing so much work. Tombstone and the boat managed to hit on Dirge, but will Dirge regen up? Looks like Dirge is very, very low HP. Will Dirge shatter? No, Dirge is getting very close. Dirge will live, and now here comes the counterattack by Bad Burn. They pick off the Kunkka. Puck's going to blink in with the Waning Rift. Huge gets a double kill, as Huge plays buys Huge. Managed to secure them as a Shadow Shot lands on 2 heroes, but 2 heroes already dead. Will Weaver die? He time-lapses out at the last instant. And Dirge is just going to regen up, and all the while Dragonite was not near. Sonic Siren going to be casted, but they've already used all their spells, so just buying time. They want to wait for their respawn timers to tick in, but can they stall long enough as a double dragon? Just going to go on the offensive, scare everybody away. I mean, this dragon's pretty intimidating. This dragon, not so much. But still, Bad Burn gonna go for the finishing blow. Can they kill this tower and take the first game of this grand finals? Winner been landing some nice shackle shots. Unfortunately, no follow-up damage to speak of. And that's the ultimate troll as a winner. You're just like, oh, these shackle shots are so on par. Man, I'm so good at this game. Shackle shot, catching 2 heroes every time. And then that moment when you realize, oh shit, my team doesn't have any damage. We can't do anything with these shackle shots. It's just such a shame. I feel for this Windrunner. I feel for KYT. But meanwhile, we're just going to farm back up. And this is definitely a very Chinese style. Just going to farm it up rather than going very aggressive and pushing in rather than risking anything. I guess they want to, level 16 on Dragonite would be a nice thing to have. Have that Frosty Dragon and have that Freezing Breath upgrade to, of course, freeze your tires to prevent them attacking. Just kidding. That would be pretty cool. Warcraft 3 Dragonite. Or Warcraft 3 Froststorm, rather. Alright, items. Hyperstone, picked up by Dragonite. Reigns, picked up by Weaver. Okay, I think they're good to go. Any item progression by the Scourge? Well, Naga pretty close to Manta. Will they push in before Naga finishes it? Because Naga with the Manta style is nothing to be underestimated. But still, she does need some sort of tank. And right now, will Bad Burn allow the Scourge side to keep drawing it out? Dragonite going to get ganked. Does have the Elder Dragon form. Still has Aegis. Going to pop it right now. I'd rather just suicide, just because if you die with the Aegis and the Dragonite, you're not going to respawn in the Elder Dragon form. But still, Soul Rip doing a nice job in terms of healing. Here comes the Tombstone and the Frostbite. Dreamcoat holding everybody in place. Double kill going to be picked up. Though they're surviving surprisingly long, looks like Winter might be able to escape, as looks like Dragonite's going to get netted in place. But Soul Rip keeping Dragonite alive all the while. Blink in by Lion, or do you just blink out? No, he just blinked out, but meanwhile Weaver, with the help of that range, is just going to melt down this tower, and the split pushing is going to be able to pick off 2 barracks at the same time. No, it looks like Neoshan going to defend the middle barracks, but they're going to lose their top barracks all the while. Tombstone, such an annoying presence to deal with, especially with the damage of Weaver and Dragonite to back him up. Urn of Shadows, so much healing being dropped on Dragonite. Another Shackle Shot hitting nice on Dragonite. Can they follow up? They drop the Cold Feet. They're going to be able to kill the Aegis, but defensive disruption being the ultimate cock block, but looks like the Figure Death was cast on. Shadow Demon Lion's going to take the fall immediately. Taji not faring too well. Did Dragonite lose the Aegis? No, he did not lose Aegis. He picks up kill on Gnosticism, and that's a huge blow, at least in terms of morale. Not even killing Dragonite Aegis. Well, they kill it finally, but still, barracks is going to be taken, at the very least, by the side of Bad Burn, and now DK's at full HP. And Dirge with Soul Rips just going to spam it up and keep all his team at a good enough life, because, hey, Soul Rip at very low mana cost, and since they're getting a lot of kills, Urn of Shadows being constantly spammed. So I think Bad Burn, if they want to go for the middle barracks, they can, because they killed the hardest part, which was that tier 3 tower. But still, one last fight by Neolution. Can they hold on to the game? Tombstone being dropped, Dragon Tail being dropped, Dream Coil catches two heroes. No, one hero, but they killed KYT, the Windrunner, and they lose a lot of the Shackle Shot, a lot of Disable. KYT's been landing Shackle Shots, but unfortunately they cannot do anything with it. And Bad Burn just going to run unfettered, and Dragon Knight form will be up very, very soon. And now it looks like we were just going to go out in the middle barracks. Will Neolution mount one last defense? Can the Torrent Bolt combination, or not even level 10? My god, this Kunkka not faring too well. Impaled trying to catch two arrows. Will they be able to kill Dawn? Icewise going to be able to kill Dawn as Taji respawns. Will he die to the Weaver? He will surely die. Well, Gnosticism does take the fall to In Mother Dirge as Kunkka is going to take a lot of damage. Dragon Knight and CHN easily cleaning up the remnants of Neolution. Song of Siren being casted, but will not be able to escape. Song of Siren not being used very effectively just because Naga spins harassed so heavily in the early game. GG's called by Neolution, as they say go next, as what a well-played game by Bad Burn, as they take the first game convincingly, never giving Neolution any room to breathe, and Bad Burn definitely looking very, very strong as they head into Game 2 of the Grand Finals of GSD July, so hopefully y'all enjoy that. But yeah, the next game should be up relatively soon, and hopefully you all enjoy that. Here's the final score screen, and just my analysis thoughts. I think Bad Burn played that pretty well. They didn't play perfect, but they played pretty damn well. Meanwhile, Neolution laning was just abysmal. They didn't win any of their lanes. And when you lose all your lanes, you're going to have big trouble, especially when Dragon Knight kills like 5 towers in 2 minutes. No, he killed 1 tower, but he killed it very, very fast. I think the Lion not going for a bottle hurt them a bit just because Lion was forced to go for the runes and just try to get in the lane. And I think dual lanes against Dragon Knight should be definitely considered by the Pinoys, just because Dragon Knight is so difficult to deal with for the Pinoy, it seems. And putting a dual lane against him mid might be an answer against him, at least in getting a lot of farm. But still, nicely played by Bad Burn. Can Neolution recover? Will this be a 3-game series or just a 2-game? Because right now Bad Burn up 1-0. And I will be back with more of the Grand Finals very, very shortly. So thank you all for watching and have a fantastic day.